Hi there, it's me, and I've got the Digital Lizards of Doom, Level 1, Dizzy Doom here. Now, in my first video, I mentioned that I was really glad to be reviewing the Shanu for the first video on my channel, because I liked the Shanu, and the original comic book I was going to review I did not like. Well, this is that comic book. So Digital Lizards of Doom is actually a band. And I read an article about this comic book, and it starts off with this paragraph saying, the Digital Lizards of Doom, they're a band, and an interactive musical experience, and a beer, and now a comic. And I really should have looked at that list before buying this comic. If you've got 5 things you're trying to do at once without having perfected one of them, I would pick the one that you really like and focus on that first. So I'm going to be honest. Before I bought this book, I listened to their music, and I didn't like it. But I found this idea intriguing. They basically said, we're changing the way that comics are made. We are making this in a new format, unlike other comics. And warning bells should have gone off in my head saying, no, don't buy this, you won't like it. But instead I thought, oh, intriguing. So basically, the problem with this book is that it is exactly what it said it is. And I'm the only one to blame for buying it. It's splash pages with text on the other page. So it's a picture book. It reminds me of there's this old collection of Aesop's fables that I have in a book, and I like it. The illustrations are beautiful. I would not call it a comic book. Yes, it has dialogue, and yes, it has drawings, but a comic book it is not. So up here in the front, we've got some words by Mike Towry, who is co-founder of San Diego Comic-Con, which is an okay convention. I don't think Comic-Con's been good for a while. So he goes on to describe the book, and he kind of gives things away here. This book is a great pop culture meld, a fun mix of comics, video games, tabletop games, adventure cartoons, and more that all combine to make something very new yet also familiar. It's quirky, idiosyncratic, and unique. At least it's new and fresh to me and incredibly well done. Okay, so that doesn't say it's good or this is a comic. It's quirky, it's new. You might not like that. And it seems like this writer's got an everything in the kitchen sink approach. I wouldn't even call it that, because you can throw everything in the kitchen sink in together and make a really cool comic. And I might talk about one of those comics that does that pretty recently. This is more like a bro, what if comic book. Like, you get to a party with some friends you haven't seen in a year, and you're inebriated, and you start coming up with silly ideas, and they all go, that's great! Like, let's just start off with, the main focus of my disdain here. Pineapple Pete is the villain who's always smiling and joking around, being like, oh, dude, bro, what's going on? And I know that this guy came up in a conversation at some point where Gabriel Valentine was like, yo, what if there was this guy who had 4 arms and he played video games a lot, and he had a pineapple for a head. And one of his friends was like, dude, you could call him Pineapple Pete. Yeah. You should really run that by your friends again when they're all sober. So, fourth wall break. Oh, wow. So quirky. Thank you for the warm introduction, Mike. I'm a big fan of your work. Comic-Con is my jam, dude. Oh, dear. Oh, dear Lord. This guy just watched too much Bill and Ted before making this comic book. This bugged me too. So again, this is kind of emblematic of what we get. We get pretty solid art for a lot of these pages. I mean, this looks pretty cool. Some celestial bodies, these 2 titans. But we get all of this crawling text, And we get, a character who straight up doesn't care about the book. Did you know we can skip over all of this boring cutscene stuff? Look for the level 1 start logo. It's only 17 pages from here. I don't like being told how bad a story is. Because I actually enjoyed the backup. I enjoyed the little prequel right here. The little origin story. Some pretty cool art. That's the villain, who I thought, look pretty dope. But we'll go on to see that they kind of slowly ruin him. Again, here's another page. It's all pretty good, pretty cool. Here are, our saviors of the past, but you have, again, the book telling you that this is boring. Don't read this. So the basic backup story is that there was this society that started to value technology a lot, and then started to value magic a lot, and at some point they came together to beat this guy, because they realized they would need the help of magic and technology to, make things all better. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to expose too much. So, not a bad page. It really isn't. It's pretty good. I'd like to see the black and whites. I'd like to see the pencils of this if possible. I don't know where you can find it. I didn't find out much about this artist at all. This all looks pretty cool, but I feel like the colorist is really, pulling most of the weight. She was pretty good through all this. It was stylized in a certain way, and she kept it consistent pretty much throughout. So, props to her. I'll be looking to see if she's in another project of some sort that doesn't involve the Digital Lizards of Doom. So they have this king thing who's called Mr. Emperor Guy. They call him Mr. Emperor Guy. It's like I said, very Bill and Ted, but 20 years too late. We've got the villain here, and he's meeting his horde of dead people who's been made for him, and, the fact that they're dead and they don't have lungs and therefore can't, cheer for him. It's played for laughs, oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh, man. This guy's the main villain. I shouldn't... he shouldn't be played for laughs like this. You can do it, but it's... the humor's just not effective. There's this, ongoing joke that one of the characters takes a bite out of a pineapple and he feels some things. I don't know. There are advertisements like this, Pineapple Pete's all the way through. You get 4 of those. I don't know. I know some games have ads, but this is supposed to be a throwback book. Don't put new things into a throwback book. So this character, blows up the baddie, but then she gets sucked into some sort of vortex or something. That's a thing. I felt like this book was homework. I wanted to give this a nice, good review, but now I'm just giving an honest one. It felt like a chore. It shouldn't feel like a chore. Again, here's the big problem here. You have these very nice pages, but it could really do well with some just traditional paneling and some word bubbles above people's heads as they move and transition from page to page, like in a, I forget what that's called. You have a bunch of panels of art with word dial. Oh, a comic. It's called a comic. This comic could have benefited greatly from becoming a comic. So, this humor just kills me. Okay, we get, it's Pineapple Pete. And he's aligning his chakras, and it's just, the LOL humor's everywhere. Dude, you're in a game right now. A simulation, bruh. Just check it out, right? So, you have this menu screen, and it gives you access. Oh, my gosh. People... Not too many people talk like this. I don't know why you decided to make a character, protagonist or antagonist, make him sound like this. This is probably the flattest page I found. I forgot to mention that the San Diego Comic Con guy, Towry, he said that looking at these splash pages, it was very much like looking at Mobius. Let's see what he says here. It's kind of made me laugh. I'm not saying the artist is bad. As I read the saga of Dizzy Doom, Commander Eco, and the other memorable D-Lod characters, spoiler alert, they're not memorable, I often found myself lingering over Ernie's poster-worthy splash pages that reminded me of times of the great Mobius. Okay, everybody needs to stop comparing any artist to Mobius. I don't know why that's the trend right now, but I hear it all the time. It's like, oh, very Mobius. Like, I don't know. I looked up some images of Mobius, and I didn't see a robot pirate cat played for lols. Like, I saw vast cityscapes with, dimension and shadow and these great lumbering beasts. And I saw something like that in here, but that, I mean, if I put a killer clown in my book, does that mean I'm Stephen King-like? I don't know. So yeah, there's going to be a part 2. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not. And look, Gabe Valentine, work on your band. Obviously, people like you. The San Diego Comic Con guy liked you. He hired you for other events. Keep doing that. Comics ain't it. And I say that because I don't feel like this is your passion. I feel like this is something you're passionate about. I feel like it's something you would like to do, and you've done it. So, anyway, I don't want to discourage people. Do what you like, but I won't be buying it. If you like it, go ahead and buy it. I'll be including a link to the Indiegogo page. As far as I know, it's still live, and I think you can order it from their website and then from like another website. It's hard not to find. So yeah, here's the artist, Ernie Najera. He worked in anthologies like Action Hospital, Kaiju, and the Jack Kirby tribute comic. So, pretty good work. Margot Proden, I'll be looking out for you. We'll see if you do more coloring in the future. This is not bad. It's not. It's stylized. It's kind of fun. It's just, this book's too unique for its own good. And it told me it would be unique, and I still bought it. I only have myself to blame. I don't blame these people. So, find me, follow me, like and subscribe. Put in a comment there, any recommendations you have. Like, read this book, or, maybe you want to tell me to stop reviewing comics forever. I'll take it. I just crapped on this guy's work for 12 minutes, so I should probably take some abuse. But yeah, donate if you can. And until next time, hasta luego.